everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am making turkey meatloaf. This was requested by a viewer of mine, Beverly Perez. Thank you, Beverly. Appreciate the request, happy to do it. We're making this as healthy as we can. We're using turkey, that's what she requested. And I'm using a lot, well, not a lot, a couple of nice fresh herbs with it. So I think you guys are gonna like it. It's easy to make and it tastes delicious. I'm Rockin' Robin and I'm gonna show you how to do it right after this. All right, so let's start by going over our ingredients so you can see what's in this. First up, we have our ground turkey. Now I'm using, I think it's 7%, it's lean. And you wanna use something not too super lean like a turkey breast because then I think it's gonna be a little bit dry. So, and you can also use a combination of ground beef with this if you choose, or all ground beef if you like, or or a combination of both. Next up is our bread. I've got a couple slices of just some white bread here that I tore up into pieces. We'll need 1 egg. I have the super fine dice here of some yellow onion, also some celery, some fresh Italian flat parsley, some rosemary that I got out of my garden, so you want to chop that up nice and fine. I've got some fresh garlic. I have garlic powder. I have some Dijon mustard. I have some brown sugar, a little bit of milk, salt. I have some ketchup and olive oil. So the very first thing we want to do is add the milk to our breadcrumbs. And because I want that bread to really soak it up. So I'm just gonna kind of mash it in there and then just let that go. And if you need more, because you know every type of bread is a little bit different size, you can always add a little bit more milk. You don't want, excess milk. It should absorb it all in. So I'm just gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna move on to cooking our onions, garlic, and celery. All right, so here we are at the stove. I've got my frying pan on here, medium low. I'm gonna add some olive oil to the pan, not too much, just enough to cook those onions, and we'll toss those in right off the bat here. And we're gonna do the celery with them. We're not gonna add the garlic yet because I don't want that to even have a chance of burning. That will ruin your dish. So we're gonna cook this for 10 minutes, and we're gonna add the garlic at the last 3 minutes of that 10 minutes, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna turn this up to medium and get it going so that this can have a chance to soften up and get translucent, cook down a little bit. And I'm also gonna add a pinch of salt to this. So our mixture's been cooking 5 minutes now, and you're gonna wanna turn the temperature down a little bit because you don't want these to burn, basically. So I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit. All right, so we've been cooking the onions and the celery here for about 10 minutes. And now I'm gonna add the garlic, but make sure you turn your heat on low. You don't wanna burn this stuff. And it's gonna hit the pan, and you're gonna notice right away the nice, beautiful aroma that comes out of cooking the garlic and just mellowing out the flavor. And this only takes like a minute or two. 2 at the most. Just keep it moving, make sure you don't burn it. All right, now that this is done, we're just gonna turn the heat off. We're gonna let this cool for 5 to 10 minutes until we can add it to our turkey, and I don't want it to be too hot to do that because I'm gonna be using my hands to stir it up. So here we are back with the bread and the milk mixture, and I just wanted to show you what this looks like. And I'm showing you that I'm mixing this up, and it's really just kind of mashed up quite a bit, right? I don't want big chunks in my meatloaf, so I break it up, and this is what it's gonna look like. So that's ready to go. The onions and the celery and the garlic have cooled down, and there goes my oven. By the way, preheat your oven to 375 degrees, so that way you're ready to go. Now I'm gonna place my onions and celery and garlic into the bowl with the bread and the milk, right? And that bread and milk is gonna make our meatloaf nice and moist. That's the key. And then we're gonna add our egg to it, and our parsley, and our rosemary and salt. We're gonna mix that up really well before we add the meat to it, right? Because we don't wanna overwork our meat. We wanna get this mixture all nicely combined, all the ingredients spread out, and then we're gonna add that meat and just mix it in just enough to get everything incorporated. All right, so once we get the turkey meatloaf mixed. We're gonna just place it. I have a cookie sheet here lined with foil. That way it'll make cleanup a lot easier. And I think it works better to use a baking sheet to cook this as opposed to, say, a loaf pan, because it just cooks up better. I don't know. It has a chance, if there is some leftover or some accumulated grease from this, it can kind of just slide away, you know, in the pan. But I haven't seen too much. So here we go. Now you want to make this about 2 inches tall and, you know, like a rectangle sort of shape. You know, kind of like a loaf. So we'll pop this in the oven for 30 minutes. So while our meatloaf is cooking in the oven for 30 minutes, we have time to make our sauce, and we're just gonna put everything together and stir it up and it'll be ready to go. All right, so here I have my ketchup. We'll just toss in the brown sugar, and remember these ingredients are all, you know, you can adjust them to your liking. That's the brown sugar. Here is our mustard, which I love, and I love using the Dijon. It just has a great flavor for this recipe. Gives it a little tang, but not overpowering. And of course, the garlic powder. So I'm taking my meatloaf out of the oven at 25 minutes instead of 30, just because things seem to be moving along pretty good here. My oven tends to run a little hot sometimes. Anyway, we're gonna add our sauce on top of this and cook it again, of course. And you can add as much of this as you want. You can save it for, you know, after it comes out of the oven and it's done and you wanna just have like a dipping sauce, you could double the batch. Let's see how this looks, but you want this, you know, nice on top here. Let's see. Just spread it around. And then, like I said, we're gonna pop this back in the oven. You wanna use an instant read thermometer. I have one right here. Guys, I recommend you get one of these. They work great, and you want this to be about between 160 and 165. And we're going back in the oven. So I took the meatloaf out after about 25 minutes or so, 26. Anyway, this is how it looks. It looks great. And I'm gonna go ahead and slice a piece off here. Looks nice and moist. I'll just lay it right down like that. And I'm gonna put a little more sauce on mine because, well, I really like it. All right, guys, let's give this a taste. Hopefully it's cool enough. It's very moist, and I think that's because of the milk and the bread. It really just keeps it very moist inside. It's delicious. You can taste the rosemary and a little bit of the parsley, and the sauce, I think, really finishes it off. For me, it's always the sauce that makes the dish, and this is really good. And sometimes what I like to do is even add a little sriracha sauce to my sauce if you feel like, if you're in the mood for that. A little bit of heat with the sweetness, because it is a little bit sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd like to spread the word, so if you could share the video, that would be great. It would help you know, let everybody know about my channel, and more people can try my recipes. If you have any recipe requests, and by the way, thank you again, Beverly, for requesting this. I really enjoyed making it. And if you have any requests, comments, questions, leave them down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I always try and answer. So, oh, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, I'd love to have you there too. Click the subscribe button and the bell that's up near the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when new videos come out every week. All right? So thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.